Going to do a little video tut here on setup for PSP19. These are my settings, what I'm using right now, and I do change them, you know, on occasion to fit my needs at the time. But this will give you like a good starting place, I hope. So let's go File, Preferences, and General Program Preferences. You can see I have it listed there. And just to remind you, you can use the pause button anytime, and I suggest that you do that. Make friends with the pause button, so when you see some of these settings, they won't go by so fast. You stop every time you see new settings shown. That'd probably be the best idea for you. So we're in Corel's PSP19, and let's see, we'll go to the undo here, and there's my settings for the undo. Suits me pretty good. I can undo a bunch of stuff if I need to. And next we got View, and I have them all checked. Next we have Display and Caching, and these are my settings. Next we have Palettes, and you can see how I got things there. Now some of you might want to check the Learning Center. It's probably already checked anyways. But if you're new to learning these things, they got some cool lessons there. I've seen them enough times that I don't care to see them. If I want them, I'll go get them later. Allow the docking of something that's unusual for me, probably my layers palette. I like mine to float around, so I have that unchecked, because sometimes I have like 20 20 layers or something, and I'll move this thing around so I can see exactly what's going on and move them around. But that's me. Now on the layers palette over here on the right says thumbnail size. If I hold my cursor over one of the layers, it will give me a pop-up, a little thumbnail pop-up to show me what's on there. Some people that only deal with a few layers, they might want to check this palette thumbnails, and that will make, instead of it being skinny like what I've got, it will be wider and actually show the picture already, so you can scan the pictures of the thumbnails of each layer up and down. I don't like it myself, but I see the purpose in it. It's pretty cool if you're only going to use a couple layers, I guess. Alright, under Miscellaneous, there's my settings. And here's the units. I use pixels. I want pixels. And some people use a lot on the default resolution. They use a really high number, but really that just makes your file size bigger, and so it takes longer to download. And for, generally speaking, just when you're just sharing things with friends or in a Yahoo group or something, you don't have to have it like a printing quality like they would for a magazine. I mean, if you got like 300, that's just crazy unless you're doing something professionally. But for us, that just kind of joke around. 100, 120 is usually good, and we can't really tell the difference, you know. So it's alright. Alright, transparency and shading. That's what I got. You can change them around and get fancy if you want to, but I just stick to the basics, the basic looks. And warnings. Okay, here we got something going on. Got the first and fourth box not checked. the way I that's only two I have unchecked. All the rest of them are checked. But I don't like a bunch of warnings usually. And let's see, auto action. Okay, here we're going to get into something. Better pause on this one. You can look and see how I got these set up here. Now, way I started on these was I clicked always all, and then as I found that I didn't always want to on a couple of things here, I changed it to prompt to give me a choice of whether to do it or not. But most of the things you want automatic anyways. But all these are from this point here, from flattens image to single background layer. From there on down, all except for one, I believe. Yep, there it is. All except for one is always. And this one is finishes the mesh warp tool. And that's just me. Maybe you want to go ahead and check it so it will finish on its own. That's cool too. You can always use undo, undo, undo. Alright, let's see. Manage. Show ratings with thumbnail images. You might want that. I don't need that. I don't know why I had that checked. Like I say, I change these settings every once in a while to see what they do. And show file name with thumbnail images. Nah, I don't need that personally either. Auto preserve. If you get into PSP, and that's on about all of them, then they have this auto preserve. I don't use it, but what I do is I will save what I'm working on as a PSP file, and when I get enough work on it, I'll go ahead and click save again. I have a save icon up here, so I just click it to resave as I'm doing my work. And then if something goes wrong, like you lose power or something, you will have that already saved in layers. That's why I save it as a PSP image file. That's because it'll save it in layers, and you can go back to where you were. Default launch workspace. Okay, I got keep last view, and let's see, a thing on that. This is the end of this preferences part, but keep last view. Now, on the split screen thing with PSP19, since they put these tabs in, it doesn't react like what we used to use back in the old days. But you can move this to the side. Of course, it'll take away your material palette things. But so I can double click and then double click to get it full screen again. And the way that is I just slide this whole thing. I slide it to the right where I want it. Then I have room over here to have a tutorial up, or to have a movie going while I work over here, or something like that. And so that's it, the trick to that now. Just a double click for that split screen if you want to do that. And that's it for the general program preferences. So that's like part one. Hope you like that. This is Doyle, signing out.